Okay, so I'm doing a bit of driving, and as I'm driving, I'm doing a little bit of thinking. I do occasionally like to have a little bit of a think as I'm driving around, and I was trying to think of like, how do I honestly and authentically sort of express where I'm up to with stuff. So that, because I like the idea of being honest, I like the idea of trying to be authentic, and I always think it's nice if somebody meets me or if they catch me out and about, if I don't have the pressure of being like, oh God, you've got to try and remember to be like that guy you're pretending to be online. It's much easier for me to just be like, oh yeah, it's the same skittle eating dude who's got odd socks on as online, right? So then I started to think about trauma and PTSD and CPTSD, because I did that on the community tab. I did a thing asking people what they wanted, and the majority, I was surprised to see what people wanted is they still want help with CPTSD, and they still want help with stopping emotional flashbacks. And I was like, damn, I thought I did this. I thought I gave this stuff. So I am going to be doing another free course on overcoming trauma. I've already started it, which is going to be like trauma recovery 101. But I'm giving it from a solar perspective now. So, right, going to go a little bit woo. We're going to go a little bit woo. I don't feel the same way that I did when I did the Silence the Inner Critic course, when I designed the Stop Emotional Flashback course, when I did Heal the Superego course. I just don't feel that way anymore. And it wouldn't be honest of me to try and come at those problems with the same sort of mindset as I had back then. So what do I mean here when I'm talking about being solar? Well, I've started listening to reading there's a guy called Jack Donovan, who I met in Poland last year, who's an author, and he talks a lot about staying solar. Now for me, from my whole obsession with the yin yang thing, this to me means remaining yang. Yang is light. Yang is totally light. So I started to say, okay, coach yourself. How do you feel? So how do you feel in your emotions, and how do you feel physically? And I was like, well, where's the resistance to me going back into trauma recovery? And I was like, well, this is hard to put in words. And if it frustrates people, I'm really, really sorry. The way it feels for me right now is like I have a sun inside of me, S-U-N. And it's not that it's cruel or indifferent to pain. It's that it doesn't speak pain. So I'll say to it, I'll be like, this part of myself, I'll be like, so what do you think about the terrible thing that happened in the last relationship? And it goes, nee. And I'll go, that's not helpful. Like, what's the reflection? What's the wisdom? What's the perspective? And it just goes, nee. Because all it wants to do is have me move forward. This sun, this solar, this yang energy is like, well, what do you want to do? What do you want to do in your future? What could you do? What's the potential? And I'm like, no, I need to go into the past. Doesn't want to know. It's not interested. So here's the really woo bit. Light can't do darkness. You never shed light on darkness. Not really. That's poetic. That's language. That's the failing of language. When light meets darkness, light doesn't shine on darkness. When light meets darkness, there is no fucking darkness. There's only light. There's only light. They don't coexist. Darkness is a word that we've used to nominalize and to give a noun to the dark as a noun, to the absence of light, to the absence of energy. So if you imagine yang solar energy in your yin-yang spectrum is light, is libidinous energy, is lust for life, is the will to thrive, it's not that it's not interested in pain and it can't be compassionate to suffering. It's that it doesn't speak that language, because those are scars. And a scar is always a trench. A scar is always a dip, a cave, a hole, where there's been a bomb go off. Like if you ever take the time, if you ever get a chance to travel in Central and Eastern Europe and you go to Sarajevo, you'll see you'll still see the shells in the buildings. You'll still see the holes, the rounds. And for some of the shells on the floor where they killed people, they paint roses around them for the person who was killed by that shell. But the wound is still there. The light can't really speak to that. It's kind of ignorant of it in a sense, because light only travels in straight lines. So if you imagine when the sun lights the moon and the sun's ray hits the moon, the sun thinks what it sees. The sun doesn't think anything. Okay, bear with me. I will also now be poetic. The sun thinks, I'm seeing the moon. When it hits the edge of a crater, the light is straight. Light only moves straight. It doesn't go and peep around the corner. It knows nothing of the crater. It knows nothing of the trench. It knows nothing of the dark side of the moon. It's ignorant of it. It's ignorant of it. And it's not cruel and it's not indifferent. It just doesn't speak that lingo. It's not down for that. Similarly, I can't approach those problems in the way that I used to, because I'm not that guy anymore. And this thing that's inside of me, I want you to have it, because it feels really fucking good to not even have the will to want to go into my past. I'm not interested in any of my past. The drama, the stories, she did this and I couldn't believe it when they did. Not interested, man. Not interested. There's too much to do. There's too much good stuff in the world. I would rather than me trying to come down. If you're in a trench, not everybody who's watching this is, but if you're in the scar tissue of some hideous trauma, of a bomb, of a mortar round in your life, and you're in that cave right now because you feel safe in there, I'm not coming in. I'm not coming down there. Some of you have looked at me and you've gone, oh, he'd be a nice little cave buddy. He'd be a good trench friend. I'm not doing it. If you want me to help you, you've got to come to me. You got to meet me at my level. You have to come out of the cave now. You've got to come out and you've got to get in the sun, which takes bravery and it takes discipline, and it's not going to be comfortable. If you're comfy inside your cave and I'm saying, come outside and hang out in the sun, your skin's going to be like, oh, it's fucking sunlight. It's fucking weird. You're going to be freaked out by it. But you must, because I'm not coming down there. So I'm going to do this course on how to recover fully from trauma. I'm doing it one more time, and I'm not doing it again. And I'm doing it for free. I'm going to do it for free. I'll tell you where you can get. It's going to come out. It's going to take me about 2 months because it's going to be about 30 or 40 videos. I'm going to say everything I've got to say about recovering from trauma one more time, and then that's it. I'm not answering any more, and it's going to be totally free. It's going to be out there forever. You can download it, you can keep it, you can translate it, you can share it with your mates, you can fucking do what you want with that information. It's time to move on. All of us now need to move on. I need to move on. This subject is, it bothers me. It bothers me that so many people, the vast majority of people, when I did that community poll, not the vast majority, sorry, that's not true, but the majority wanted more help with CPTSD and overcoming emotional flashbacks. That means I haven't done my job, because I set the intent to help people with that 3 years ago, and I've released a ton of material and it's still not fixed. So I'm going to do it one more time. I'm going to take my time. I'm going to do it. I'm going to put my heart and soul into it. I'm going to give it 3 months. So I turned 42 in March. So it's from now until March. I'm going to release it for free. It's going to be called something like Trauma Recovery 101 or some dumb, simple name like that. But it's coming from a yang perspective. I'm not going to be like, hey, let's write the story from the fucking thing of how we... No. I'm going to tell you what to do. I'm going to give you action steps to do it. And I'm going to answer your questions. If you've got doubts, I'm going to address them in the videos. They're going to be short, punchy videos with a beginning, a middle, and an end. About 2 minutes to 3 minutes each. Do this, now do this. What do we do tomorrow? I'll speak to you tomorrow. Do this, now do this. And that's it. That will be the end of that for me, because it would be dishonest for me to continue talking about this subject now. It's not. I'm not there, man. I'm not there, and I don't want any of you there anymore. It's not a good place to be. Life is short. It's for living, and it's for living in the sun. So this feeling that I have in myself, I am going to convey it to you, or I'm going to do my best. I mean, obviously, like, you know, not Gandhi. I can't. Some people just won't get it. Some people won't want to get it. Some people will be whatever. Some people are going to get something from it. So that's going to be something that I'm going to do. And as I say, it's going to be free. The reason it's going to be free is because I set the intention to have this done quite about a while ago, and it's still not done, which means I didn't really fully truly do my job, and I'm happy to do it for free. Solar is very generous because the sun ain't running out of anything anytime soon. Solar's got all the energy in the world, so it's a libidinous yang strong energy, and it wants... I want you to join me. Come and hang out with me. This is a good place. This is good energy. It's a positive place to be, rather than me trying to do it the other way and try and be like, oh yeah, you're sad. Oh, I'll come and be sad with you. Then there's two sad people. What? It's like, what fucking good is that going to do? So that was my thought. A little bit woo. Moonbeams on the sun. Sunbeams on the moon. Trenches and wounds and trauma. Lions and tigers and bears, oh my. Well, I better go and finish the rest of this drive now, so toodle pip. Thank you very much for your time and your attention, and I look forward to speaking to you again very soon.